Hello, friends. The topic under discussion today is John Keats' Ode to Autumn. We discussed yesterday the chief traits of John Keats as a poet, and today we'll see all those traits practically in his poem To Autumn. The Ode to Autumn ranks among the finest poems of Keats. The treatment of the subject is entirely objective or impersonal, which we noted as the quality of negative capability. The poet keeps himself completely out of the picture. He only describes certain sights and sounds without expressing his personal reaction to these sights and sounds. The poem is a perfect nature lyric. No human sentiment finds expression. Only the beauty and bounty of nature during autumn are described. Now, the poem, we'll discuss the form of the poem. The poem is an ode. An ode is a short lyric poem that praises an individual, an idea, or an event. In ancient Greece, odes were generally accompanied by music. Odes are often ceremonial and formal in tone. And here, the poet celebrates the beauty and bounty of nature. Normally an ode is addressed to somebody, and here it is addressed to autumn. Autumn has been personified by the poet. This poem was written by Keats in 1819. He was greatly struck by the beauty of the season. Keats was impressed by the beauty of the weather, and he recorded his mood in the form of this poem. Now, what is surprising is the title of the poem, To Autumn. In all other literatures, you might have heard the songs of spring. Spring is Basant, and autumn is a season which is opposite to spring. It is Patjhad ka मौसम. So nobody praises the autumn season, and here our poet John Keats presents the beauty of the nature, beauty of the autumn season in such a beautiful manner that we are full of praise for the autumn. Now we'll go through the text. Season of mists and mellow fruitfulness, close bosom friend of the maturing sun, conspiring with him how to load and bless with fruit the vines that round the thatch eaves run, to bend with apples the most cottage trees, and fill all fruit with ripeness to the core, to swell the gourd and plumb the hazel shell with a sweet kernel, to set budding more and still more later flowers for the bees, until they think warm days will never cease, for summer has overbrimmed their clammy cells. First of all, the poet has personified autumn, and he is talking with autumn in the same manner as if he is talking with a human being. And he regards the season of autumn as a season of mist. There is mistiness, fogginess in the sky. And then he says it is not only a season of mist, but it is a season of mellow fruitfulness. Mellow is ripe, mature. These two features, mellow and mist, work both with and against each other. Mist is part of what makes autumn so mellow. On the other hand, the mist is something which conceals. Season of mists and mellow fruitfulness. The first stanza has many instances of the use of alliteration. There is emphasis on the sound S, Z, M in different lines. Season of mists and mellow fruitfulness. The poet wants to say autumn is that season when we can find fruits fully ripe. close bosom friend of the maturing sun. Now, look at the word close bosom friend. Close and bosom represents the inseparable nature of the friendship. The poet has also personified sun, and it is the sunlight which is essential for the growth of the fruits. And that's why the poet regards autumn and sun as the intimate friends who are making a conspiracy about close bosom friend of the maturing sun conspiring. Now look at the word conspiring. Conspiring is a word which is related with human beings, with the people who conspire with each other. And now this conspiracy is also we can say about the growth of the plants, conspiring with him how to load and bless. Now there are two contrary words. Load is a burden, but here load is a blessing. If there are too many fruits on a tree, it would be heavy with the load, but at the same time the tree is blessed. How to load and bless with fruit the vines that round the thatches run. Vine is creeper. Now the sun and the autumn season, these two intimate friends are conspiring together about growing much fruit on the vines which are surrounding the thatch eaves. Thatch eaves is the roof of the hut. And what other conspiracies? To bend with apples the most cottage tree. Now look at the sound again. M. Most, maturing, mist, mellow. All these instances are use of alliteration. To bend with apples the most cottage trees. Most cottage trees means the tree which is so old that is covered with moss, and it is in front of the cottage. It is an apple tree, and the sun and autumn are conspiring how to grow so much fruit on the tree that it bends with its weight and fill all fruit with ripeness to the core. Fill all fruits with ripeness to the core. Core is innermost part. To swell the gourd and plump the hazel shell with a sweet kernel. The whole stanza describes the fruits and vegetables of the season, the bounty of the nature, bounty of autumn season. There would be so much kernel in the fruit that it appears it would burst with its weight. To set budding more and still more later flowers for the bees. And it is the time when there are buds seen all around. And these buds will ultimately turn into flowers during the season of spirits. But there are so many buds, and bees are sucking honey out of them, and it appears that the bees think there won't be any end of the summer days because their honeycombs or their clammy cells, clammy is sticky, their beehives are full of honey. For summer has overbrimmed their clammy cells. Thus, in the first stanza, the poet has described the beauty of autumn season by describing its fruits and vegetables, and the sweet kernel and the other vegetables. There is a sensuous description. Sensuous means that which appeals to our sense. Honey, sweet, ripeness, and now we can also see that there is a theme of maturity and death and beauty in the poem. How every beautiful thing has its end, and everything is destined for its end. Thus, this is autumn season, and this autumn season denotes the end of the year. But end doesn't mean that it is deprived of beauty. Autumn has got its own beauty, and it is towards the end of one's life then that one is at its best. So here what we can find is the fruits are fully ripe, fully mature, and the sun is also maturing, means the sun is about to set. So just as the sun is about to set, human being will also set. Probably the poet is also referring towards the eve of his life. The poet died an early death.